Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of installing this ductless air conditioning unit. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. If you're new to this channel, click that bell so you're notified of new videos I posted. I'm back here again with part 2 of installing this ductless air conditioning unit. If you recall correctly, it was a DAIZUKI brand air conditioning unit that I'm helping a friend install. So just to recap of what we did in the last video. This is a 12,000 BTU unit, 19 SEER. So what we did was made sure we hung it on the wall where he wanted, got the level, concrete anchors, anchored the bracket in, and then we put the unit in, make sure it was nice and sturdy and can hold the weight. Just know that this is a regular air conditioner unit. It's not an inverter unit. The inverter unit carries a heat mode. This does not have a heat mode. If you have the option of buying the heat mode and you live somewhere that gets cold, I would recommend you do it because my buddy has a little bit of regrets. As you can see here, just a recap where I installed the high voltage line. This is a 240 unit. Some of the unit comes in 120 volts. If you recall, I mentioned in the earlier video where I had to swap out the breaker. This was a 20 amp breaker feeding a pool pump, and I had to swap it out for a 30 amp breaker. Install the bracket and mount it. Now this is the only part that made this job very difficult. Initially we had to go up in the ceiling, come through the roof and come back out where the condenser unit is located. However, due to restrictions of attic space, we could not do that. So the next option was to go through the wall straight out. The problem is this was a header wall. It's some kind of pre-manufactured dense concrete that contain rebars and stuff like that. So as we're drilling through this, we keep hitting rebars, we're damaging the drill bit. This just getting through this concrete took roughly about 3 to 4 hours, and it was not easy. Just going in from the inside, drilling through, and coming back from the outside just to get the space that we need to run the lines through. So if you ever have to go through a header concrete, make that the very last option, as it's not as easy. Perhaps we don't have the right tool, but it's not as easy to get through that concrete. Multiple holes, chisel, hitting rebar, cannot cut the rebar that's in the concrete, and just end up cutting the tip off the lines and reflaring the lines. Remember, you had the high side, low side, and your drain line, plus your electrical control wire that needs to run through that hole. So the spacing wasn't adequate enough after drilling. Believe me, we started this job early in the morning, about 7 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't get done till about 9 o'clock in the night, and it was all because of this concrete header. Recall in the earlier video we ran the line, we finally got through the concrete, and you can see the hole. It's not that much of a big hole, but that's all we could do to get the lines through, and we were able to pass the lines right through, taped off the end, cut off, and reflare the lines. So I mean, it was not that easy to going through the concrete header. Left off was the length of the line was long, so I had to cut and also reflared the outside line. So once I got that reflared, I went ahead and connect my high side and low side line. As you can see, time is behind us now. We're running out. It's starting to get dark and we're trying to wrap it up. So I've connected my line so I can start vacuuming and leak testing. So I went ahead and pressurized the unit, make sure it's holding pressure. I went ahead and sprayed some soapy water on the outside unit where I made the connection of the line to check for bubbles, air bubbles. And once I sprayed it and confirmed there were no air bubbles, I went ahead and checked the inside. Once I check the inside, I'm gonna go ahead and start the vacuuming of the lines themselves, or what they call evacuation. Now if you don't have a vacuum pump, you can probably try to rent one somewhere. That way you can do the job right and evacuate any of the atmospheric non-condensable that's sitting in the unit itself. Once that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and start that vacuum pump. Once that vacuum pump is running, I can continue with connecting the control electrical. That's the electrical that's coming from the inside unit to the outside, that's telling it when to turn off, on, the speed, heat mode, and all the different things that it's supposed to do. As this vacuum pump is running, we're trying to finish up a lot of minor details that needed to be done to get the unit up and running and closed off before it gets really late. So I start pulling that vacuum, as you can see, going down to 649 microns, and I'm going to continue to vacuum this unit as low as possible. Periodically I would come back and just check, see how low my vacuum is pulling. So once I'm satisfied and I'm ready, I can go ahead and just start releasing the gas and charging this unit up. It was late and I was not able to get video of it, but I believe I pulled a vacuum on this unit to below 200 microns. Due to the fact that I had other stuff to work on, I just let the vacuum pump just keep running and running and running. My vacuum pump is a two-stage vacuum pump, so I just let it run. After I finished what I had to do, the minor detail works and strapping stuff down and wires connection, I just went ahead and opened up my caps and then found the appropriate Allen wrench. Once I found that Allen wrench, I was able to release the gas and add an additional charge due to the extra line length that we added to the unit. I believe this unit came with a 10 or a 15 feet length, and I believe we needed, if I recall correctly, 35 feet of line. So we need to adjust the refrigerant in the line to compensate for the extra line. Once I was satisfied with everything that I've done in this area, I applied a little bit of that leak lock to the threads of this cap and hand screwed them in. Once it's hand screwed in, I went ahead and got a crescent wrench. You can use a combination wrench, but just give them a little bit of a snug. Once you snug them in, you don't want to over tight it, just snug it in and you're good to go. Just be aware that this unit takes a special adapter for your gauge, so you need to get that adapter. I'm sorry, that's all the footage I have. The job took double the time than it should have, and there was times where I couldn't record because I needed to get the job done. However, I got it done even though it was late, and the unit is functioning fine. So I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.